Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast, the only podcast you didn't know you needed. I see my friends Josh and Brent, and I say to both of them, I hear your voice over the sound of the city. I hear you call my name. And I hear that now you spend your life feeling pity. But who am I to blame?
Josh.
Say hello, Josh.
Yo, that's the a song that should be put in evidence is why you should not allow sirens.
Oh, God, yes.
In a song.
Have you ever had it on and like look around you? When
it don't matter if it was the second time or the 800th time I've heard it. It always still makes your dick tingle a little bit when you're driving and it comes on.
I had that on when I was a kid, probably 13 or 14. My dad was driving, and I had it on the boombox in the back seat of the car. And it came on, and my dad hits his brakes. He's looking around. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't you hear them sirens? I'm like, oh, shit. I said, that's the song today. He's like, turn that shit off.
And you know what's weird, too, is sometimes there will, like, you'll be driving, and you'll be like, I don't remember Call My Name being on. And, it, you keep driving, and it's actually the
sirens,
the police after you for the last 2 miles. You're like, maybe this is a remix of Call My Name.
Damn, it's a long siren part.
Yeah.
Brentry, how we doing, buddy? What's going
doing...
on with the record collection today?
How's
it looking?
I went ahead and inserted some Night Ranger in there.
I see 7. I see ATBPO. I see a Dawn Patrol with a, what do you guys call them? Obi-Wan strips?
Obi. This is the new Romper Room segment. I see Andrew.
I see
Josh.
Yankees.
I see Tim. I see Mark. Anyway, yeah. Mark Greenaway gave me this one when he came to America for visiting.
Oh, the damn Yankees?
Yeah, and that and the Color of Your Smile EP.
Ah, classic.
And I've got the illustrious Out of Bounds sealed. So we're doing all right.
That'll be worth like what, $4 in the future?
It was $15. It was $15 marked, and the original price was $8.98 back in 1980.
Dude, you'll be rich someday. Yeah. When you're dead, your daughter will sell that for $23.
When the old cardiac arrest fairy shows up, your daughters are going to be like, "Holy shit, he had the Out of Bounds soundtrack."
Man, I'm selling that.
It's a difficult one to find sealed.
I bet it is.
That's what I will be telling them at the funeral. I'm like, listen, that's a difficult one to
listen.
Yeah.
Josh will be all, he's like, this one's worth a lot more than you think.
In fact, when Jack was writing Rain Comes Crashing Down, the original lyric was, "It's a difficult one that's sealed."
Wow.
So,
yeah.
I'm sorry. It just comes and I can't help it.
He'll be here all night. Thanks, folks.
Tip your waitresses.
You would think after 130 episodes or wherever we're at, it would have gotten better, but
no,
obviously
we don't.
I don't run from it. I embrace it.
So, Josh, what's going on? What are we talking about?
I don't
today?
think any of us are running from anything.
No, I'm barely running to the fridge anymore. I'm like, screw it. I'll just be hungry.
So, what we got? What's going on here, folks?
I think recently, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't all of us at a concert recently?
It's amazing.
At not a venue, at a conference room. It looked like.
Yeah. I do enjoy, your guys' company better like this than in person. I can safely say that.
Well, it's the smells. They're hidden.
Yeah. Well, that's the second show of the little weekend jaunt that we saw, but the Parti-Gras 2023 with Bret Michaels kicked off last week, Thursday in Detroit, Clarkston actually. It's you just drive north of Detroit, and when you're like, where the fuck are we? Drive about another 20 minutes north, and you'll hit it.
Is that the old did that used to be called the DT?
It was Pine Knob, and then it became
Pine Knob. Yeah,
it's Pine Knob.
Okay, so
I mean,
I've been there.
The early 70s.
You saw Maiden there, didn't you?
I saw Maiden in Dream Theater of all things, but the venue's nice. The walk up and into the woods and all the little food booths and stuff. It's really a pretty setting. And then, if I remember correctly, Josh, you told me you were just there. when the show's over, don't they just get everybody out? Like everybody out to the right, just keep going, just keep to the left, keep going. All the traffic.
I don't know. I left a tad bit earlier because I don't want to deal with people. So
Good man.
I don't know.
All right.
Now the DT Theater, that was probably the first place where I met Levy. I was in Africa in 2011, came back that summer, and I had bought tickets for a buddy of mine who was in the military and my younger brother. And I think we went and saw like Poison and Motley Crue maybe in Youngstown or some shit like that. And then the next night we drove over to Clarkston, and we saw, it was Night Ranger, Foreigner, and Journey.
Yeah.
And I got the VIP passes because I had my brother and a buddy, like I said, a buddy of mine, and back then it was like what, maybe an additional $50 or, it wasn't nothing crazy. Plus, I'd been sitting, in the bush for 8 months, so I had a shit ton of money sitting in my pocket. So I bought the tickets and bought those meet and greets. That was the only place. That was probably I think I'd seen Todd before, but that was the only time like I really met Todd, who used to be the manager or the road manager for Night Ranger, who's passed on. But when we got in line originally, we were like at the end, and then when we went in, the line kind of reversed, and now we were in front, and I'm talking to like some security guard that was up there, and it turned out he wasn't a security guard. It was Night Ranger's road manager, and talked to him for maybe 10 minutes before the band came out. So it's kind of cool just going from that to, all the stuff that's, being back here with Night Ranger now and everything. But I got up there maybe, when did they play? Thursday. So I got up there Wednesday, and it was good. Now Night Ranger and this Parti-Gras lineup had played a few weeks earlier in Mount Gilead, Ohio. It wasn't labeled a Parti-Gras. It was like a Freedom Fest or something. And it was only an hour away from me, but I was down in Disney World and all kinds of storms. I got like 2 cancellations, and I was running 2 days behind. And even though I was home, I was like, I'm done peopling. So I did not go to that.
Yeah.
But so this was really the kickoff for the for the Parti-Gras Tour, which will go through maybe the first weekend of August. There is
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, there's 13 dates. They added that Corbin, Kentucky date, which they never seem to want to update the artwork with that. Hey, here we got some exclusive stuff, everybody. Night Ranger is currently playing, where are they at? Albany, New York. Kelly's wife, Jen, just sent me some photos. Look at that.
Oh,
that's cool.
Pick.
Very cool.
Yeah, it looks like they're playing at Hogwarts or whatever that fucking shit is. But it is cool if you guys get a chance. I'm sure someone will post something. It's like there's this like big like I won't say patio, but like plaza area, and then it's got this huge like fountain pond thing, and then it's got that League of Justice building or whatever back here. Night before, the night before, the crews were all out there working on getting everything put together, and I just know they were running really behind because there's Night Ranger's front of the house soundman guy Bradley, he stayed there and just helped out some of the other crews, and I went back and picked him up at almost 11 o'clock at night. And it was kind of weird because when you pull in the Pine Knob, when you pull in just to the regular parking, there's trees and everything, kind of like Blossom or something, right? But when you go like the road to go back behind it, you're really in some trees and shit like that, and it's like driving through the woods, but off to your left you can hear Steve Augeri, rehearsing. But it's weird too. It's also 11 o'clock at night. There's no one there. There's no cars parked out front.
Sure.
It's not really like a concert atmosphere yet. You hear a concert going on. So, I picked them up later, in that day there. I'm trying to think if I was there earlier in the day. I must have been because I knew where the fuck I was going. But the band wasn't there. So I would have just been out there with the crew. I'm in my photos to see if I remember anything. Yeah, so so I was there that day during the day and like watching them set up, the stage and stuff like that. So it was all ready to go the next day. So the next day, we head over, kind of an earlier call, rode over with Brad and Eric, and then Kelly and Jack were in the other car and bullshitted with them. Brad told a great story, which, if he ever has a book, I hope he puts it in. Nothing like, rock and roll stuff. It's when he was a kid and something happened. But then I told the story of, he asked how my, kid and my dog were. And I told him, kid pisses me off every day. And I go, the dog's just the same. It's like, I told him, I go, apparently, I had an elephant shit in my yard the other day because I turned the corner and my dog comes running to me, cute dog, right? Just covered in shit. Not a turd, right? Not like turd stuck in. It was like, an elephant had shit somewhere in my backyard and he was I saw him like rolling and then coming over to me. It was just everywhere. And like I throw him in the bathtub and I'm scrubbing. It's just like that don't bother me anymore. But it's like the water, like I got like the shower kind of running too, and like the drain opening, so like it was just so constant. It was just like shit water nonstop. It's it's just like you keep scrubbing and like eventually there's got to be no shit somewhere, right? It's like, and like it stained his fucking fur, and I'm just like, anyways, I'm telling this story. I don't know, if something connected with him, but made me laugh because him and Eric are back here just losing it. But yeah, I went back the next day and like, like what was, it was just this huge, like, I don't know, either I got an elephant or a T-Rex or something back there. I was like looking for like, like the bones of like a lamb or something in it, like is it fucking Game of Thrones back here or something? I don't know, but fuck whatever that was shitting in my backyard. Anyway, so we go to the venue. It's definitely different than going to these the theaters and stuff that they play. We're obviously in a 15,000 seat amphitheater. So there's a lot of room, which I like. Night Ranger got to I think they got a sound check a little bit. I can't remember. Maybe they didn't. I did get pictures of Eric out there, stuff like that. But if I
Eric
remember,
posted a sound check.
Did he? Well, what you sure that was from DT? You sure that was from Pine Knob?
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
No, you're right, because I see, this is why I'm going through here. That's Donnie Baldwin from Starship watching them. So it was cool. I met like the Jefferson Starship guys, bullshitted with them, and Chris, the keyboard player, and Jude, the guitar player, talked to them. Kathy Richardson, who's singing with them. I mean, we talked about Joel Hostra. He got his start with her. The day before, I saw David Friedberg, who's been, he's 1970 with Jefferson Airplane. He was in that last incarnation. was in, all the incarnations of Jefferson Starship. Basically wrote Jane.
Oh,
The
great
beginning
song.
intro was Paul Katner, and I saw him there, and I was talking to Radley later that first night, and I was like, "Yeah, man, the guy I want to meet, Friedberg, 85 years old, just the history." He goes, "I'm really friends with one of the guys in the crew. I'll introduce you." First he's like, "Why didn't she say something to him?" I'm like, you know what, they're working, and yeah,
Yeah.
But then the second day, it's everybody's more relaxed. There's a lot of downtime. David's just standing there, and I introduced myself, and it's like, um, just big fan. Uh, I basically told him you're rock worldy, dude, and he just kind of says, "Well, you know what? If you live long enough, you will become. That's what you'll become.
Yeah.
Is just no matter what." And but he was a very cool guy. That was like the highlight. Just um, just what he's seen and everything back from those days. But the whole everybody in Starship was cool. I turned, and wherever you went, you're running into someone. Like I was back on that back dock and looking at the Jefferson Starship drum kit. Just beautiful silver, and
Yeah.
it's reflecting in the
Mhm.
sun a little bit, and I'm just looking at it like, oh man, that's a nice looking kit. And then someone starts talking to me about it. I'm like, yeah. And after a couple seconds, Donnie Baldwin, drummer for Starship and Jefferson Starship, and God, he was with Elvin Bishop Band and all those. And
So that's how he got into Starship. He's Mickey Thomas, or other, or vice versa.
I don't know who came first. They're right around each other, but I would say, I don't know. I mean, to me, Mickey Thomas doesn't need any help anywhere. I mean, his voice just, even when he, because for you that don't know, Elvin
Right.
Bishop fooled around and fell in love. That's Mickey Thomas singing that. And Elvin Bishop had a more strings of hits that during that time period, and but I don't know. Maybe there's a connection, but I can't, because before you had Donnie Baldwin, you had Ainsley Dunbar,
Mhm.
who's played with fucking everyone.
Founding member of Journey.
Yep.
Yep. And played with groups afterward. I think he was in Whitesnake and for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Brent, did he play with Ozzy?
don't think he played with Ozzy, but I remember reading somewhere that he was they auditioned him after Eric Carr passed with Eric Singer. So
Wow.
he was so I remember Paul Stanley saying that he was one of the guys that they had considered. And
Yeah,
it
he's
was
legendary.
it was more like they had the dark hair. That's why they were kind of like, well, do we want Eric Singer? He's blonde. And then Dunbar just was older and didn't quite fit. And then they went, to Singer. But anyways,
I'm pulling him up. I want to see all the bands he's played in.
but Donnie Baldwin, anyways, he's like, he starts talking about the kit, and I'm like, I'm kind of listening and looking, and then it hit me. Oh, that's his kit. That's Donnie Baldwin. And so can't
Look
see
at that
shit, brother.
list. I want to touch on that when you get done. Go ahead.
But anyways, it was cool. I took a couple photos. The riser was only half put together. So he's like, I guess I'm just going to play like this. And he goes around and it's just his eyeballs like sticking over. So we took some pictures of that posing.
Yeah.
And, because, these guys are just doing, same with, when eventually we'll get to like Mark McGrath and them, they're kind of doing their own social type thing. So like, yeah, dude, takes, and I would send it to him. And, but that was cool. I met those guys and, go ahead. We'll stick on old Donnie for a second.
Okay, I'm gonna read through this list because it's amazing. John Mayall, Frank Zappa, Jeff Beck, Journey, Jefferson Starship. Is it Niles Lofgren or Niels Lofgren?
Are you talking Ainsley Dunbar? Or are you talking
Ainsley Dunbar?
All right.
Eric Burden of the Animals. Ian Hunter.
Hello.
Lou Reed, David Bowie, Mick Ronson, Whitesnake, Pat Travers, Sammy Hagar, Michael Schenker, UFO, Michael Chapman, Jakey Lee, Leslie West, Keith Emerson, Herbie Mann, and to end it all, and it kind of goes back into what's the girl's name, the singer?
Kathy Richardson.
Flo and Eddie, because they were opening for the Turtles, and that's Flo and Eddie.
So, like I said, Anthony
Amazing.
Dunbar, who isn't on this tour.
No, but that's just the name of. I mean,
but Donnie Baldwin replaced him. Big shoes to fill, I guess.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to connect it to the Kiss world, like I said, I remember Paul Stanley talking about, probably the question was there anybody else considered? And he brought up Ansley Dunsbar, who, basically, I remember Paul saying he had the talent. It's just the image wasn't quite right. And then they decided, well, even though Eric Singer's blonde, which that made a difference back then, they were going to go in that direction. So, but anyways, Donnie Baldwin was in Jefferson Starship. And then when it became Starship, he was in all those videos as well. We built this city and all that stuff. And if you're out there and you want to slag, hey, I don't like that Starship. I like the Mickey Thomas Starship better. No one gives a fuck. All right, go see the Thomas Starship. I don't give a fuck.
She sounds fantastic.
Kathy Richardson's great. And here's the thing too. Don't go, I got one original member and all that shit if you don't know your fucking shit. Because really, they've got two members of Jefferson Starship. Mickey Thomas was not an original member of Jefferson Starship. So
replaced Marty Ballin, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about who has more credibility, you could say Jefferson Starship, because they're touring under a band name that has two members from that period, whereas Starship is touring with one person. So whatever. Again, I don't give a fuck. The only reason why I give a fuck is there's people out there being dipshits. It's like, why do you take the energy to come here and say, I'd rather be listening to Marty or whatever, fucking Thomas.
No one makes people type anything. You can just scroll past.
If you would just type that a day earlier, they would have probably listened to you and got rid of Jefferson Starship and got Starship with Mickey Thomas.
Would have made all the difference.
Just sit there and enjoy it, man. If not,
don't go.
Fucking hate people. Like I said, that's the reason why all those space rock movies, I root for the space rock. Like, go get them. I'm sitting there with my space rock pennant and my fucking team shirt that says space rock, like Deep Impact. I'm rooting against fucking Robert Duvall, man. I'm like, don't fucking blow up that rock.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Armageddon. I'm like, listen, these motherfucker drillers, it would take them fucking 6 months to fucking dry out. There's no way they're doing this, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be jonesing, shaking. Yeah. So anyways, go fucking space rock. I thought I would change after I had a kid.
You get worse.
But and like a little puppy dog. But you get a puppy dog covered in fucking elephant shit,
Suddenly like, please space rock.
You're looking up at
today.
the sky like, fucking
come on, space rock today. Charade. Do it today.
So anyways, there's Starship. One thing that was kind of cool that Bret Michaels did was he took these paper plates, but they're thicker paper plates. They had a little substance to them, and he wrote a message to each band and artist and put it on their dressing room doors. So on one end of the venue, you had Night Ranger, Jefferson Starship, and Mark McGrath and Steve Augeri. And so all the doors had those plates. So Jack wrote one to Bret, and all the guys in Night Ranger signed it, and we're going to go put it on Bret's door. So we walked over there. I'm taking some pictures and stuff, and we get over there, and Bret's in there. You can see him, and Jack hurries up and tapes it to thing, and Brett's like, hey, and Jack's just ignoring him and then takes off, which means I take off, right? And we went in a weird way, like side stage, where there's all kinds of cables and shit. And I think we went and did the meet and greet or something. I don't know. Anyways, later I was talking to Ed. I'm like, hey, can you take me back over to Brett's side? I want to get a picture of what the plate actually said, because all I got is Jack throwing up there. And I think it turned out to be like Bret Michaels' drummer. Ed saw her and like, hey, we take him over to the other side and blah. First Ed was like, why don't you just go over? You got to pass. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know none of these fuck sticks, And so we go over, or she takes me over, and I'm taking a couple pictures of the door and stuff, and I go to turn around, and I almost run right into Bret Michaels. And he's like, hey, man, I mean, everything, if you hear, he's a really cool guy and stuff. He didn't know me from Dick, and he treated me like I was important, which I am. I mean, let's face it, this whole Night Ranger thing runs on me. But I was like, oh yeah, I do, Night Ranger social stuff like that. And, we're talking like, hey, can I get a picture with you next to the, he goes, oh yeah, man. He gets over there and he poses. He's like, hold on. He goes, where's my sunglasses? And he's looking, and he yells to his assistant, you got my sunglasses over there? And they get him his sunglasses. He puts the sunglasses on, and, we take a couple pictures, and I was like, hey man, thanks, that would look cool. And, talked for a couple more seconds. And then I'm like, how the hell do I get out of here? Because she took me in a weird way too. I'm kind of, discombobulated. And he's like, yeah, just go down here and around that corner and you'll be out. And then all right, man, thanks. Good meeting you. And as I'm leaving, I hear one of his people say, hey, we got to go over here real quick. And they go out some other way. So I go down, I turn the corner and walk out these doors, and I start heading around the other corner. And who do I run into? Bret Michaels. And we both kind of look at each other like a Spinal Tap moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, just take a jog around there. We don't have time for that. We kind of looked at each other, and he's like, you want to ever see Night Ranger? I'm like, yeah. He goes, let's go. So I was like, do you care if I video, behind you? He's like, yeah, man, let's go do that. So me and Brett walked, behind the stage, and he went up to Jefferson Starship first. And I got the video for this. So if they don't use it, I'll use it. But they've got so much shit being recorded and stuff. I don't even know if hell, I probably typed in the wrong email for his personal assistant. So, shit, God knows if they even got it. But he goes down, he's knocking on Jefferson Starship's door, and he's like, here, I got to do security and wait for him, but I know Starship's they got 2 rooms, and I'm pretty sure they're in the other one. So I'm recording and going, go down to that one. So then we go down, we get that, and we go to Night Ranger's room. But I'm filming walking backwards, and I think Jack or someone like fucking runs into me, and like it's like now I'm trying to refigure, and it didn't turn out as well. I got some good still photos and everything, but that was what was cool. I mean, it just Bret Michaels made it, kind of a cool atmosphere for everybody, which will translate on the stage when we get there. And I just went to Durham, North Carolina, to see the Durham Bulls play. And so I have my Bull Durham hat on or whatever. And if you look right there, look at that. Hit the bull and you win a steak. But hit the grass, you get a salad. But anyways, dude came up to me. He's like, dude, I love Bull Durham hat, man. I'm like, and I didn't know who the guy was. He's obviously a crew guy. I didn't know if it was local crew or whatever, but I didn't think much about it. So we got to bullshitting about Bull Durham and stuff like that, and talked for a few minutes. And I went and did something else, and then ran into him later. And I called him Durham. He told me his name. I was like, I ain't gonna remember. You're Durham from now on. And turns out he works with Mark McGrath. So again, I'm back there somewhere, and I turn a corner, and bam, Mark McGrath. And he's just like Brett. Hey man, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. Real cool energy. And then I see, I think his name's David, but Durham. And like, oh yeah, I met him, and Yeah, so it kind of like came, okay, you're with, Mark McGrath, and but he's, I guess, just like you would see on TV. I mean, just really laid back and stuff like that. I mean, there was no I mean, I don't know. We've all been there where we've met, either someone, I won't say like famous, or let's say someone in your company that's got high stature, and you have some that make you feel at ease, and you have some that don't. These guys were totally, I mean, even more than maybe even meeting Night Ranger guys for the first time. So I'm getting all kinds of fucking exclusive shit here. Oh wait, this is from Repepi. So let's see if Repepi can compete.
Is they saying get rid of those other two guys, Josh?
There you go. This is the rest
That's a
of the
cool view.
video. The ladies there, you can get Brad's ass.
What you're saying about Bret Michaels, I've met him many times over his career. I got Andy and I backstage passes when they were just up and coming, when Poison was just breaking. And Andy, did they not make you feel like you were the most important person back there?
Yeah, it was really one of the best experiences I've ever had meeting us. At the time, I mean, we celebrities, but they didn't feel like they were, or at least Brett didn't. Brett and Ricky did not. CC was kind of put off. Bobby, I don't really remember much for him, but Brett and Ricky, they're very fun to hang around.
Yeah, I remember when they were kicking us out, though. Cece's
Yeah.
like, no, they're with us.
Yeah.
And he took us into one of the rooms. But
and gave you a hand.
hey, you could sit and talk to Brett, and you bring up Kiss, you're going to be there an hour.
That's what we did, and he was like, "Dude, let's talk about it." It was really cool, especially for a young kid,
Well, dude, I had that Kiss shirt, like the jersey tee with like the solo records, maybe like pictures on it. And now it's kind of weird, I guess. Brett, I don't remember him saying anything about it, but I'd be back here and someone would always like, "Oh man, cool shirt," someone from different crews and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was good. Just all those guys being relaxed, and it made for a fun atmosphere. Jefferson, Starship, when they went on, I got a few pictures of like Kelly and Steve Augeri. I didn't get to spend a lot of time with Steve Augeri, so not like I'm excluding him or anything.
Sure.
Just said hi to him a little bit. I think I was talking with Brad, and maybe he came over. So like me, him, and Brad talked. I know I got a picture of those two together. But yeah, so like even when the stuff's going on, Night Rangers or Jefferson Starships on stage, Kelly's out there watching him. Steve Augeri's out there with him. When Night Ranger was on, the Jefferson Starship guys were out there watching. And if you go to their page, there's some like, they look like selfies, but they're just pictures I took of them. And if you look, Night Rangers behind them and stuff. And I took some photos. Again, I don't know those guys too well and their crew, so I wasn't getting, like, up on them. But like, there's some pictures they used, I took of them, like at the end doing their bows and stuff. And it's not a great photo, but again, I took it from far back, so I didn't want to get in their way. But they were happy to have it. So they used that. And the Starship sounded great. They play for maybe a half hour, and you can't go wrong. I mean, again, you got people want to bitch about anything, but dude, those songs stand for themselves.
It was hit after hit after hit. I saw the set list,
dude. And if you're a big Starship fan, go see them. Not on this, because when we saw them at
Turfway, Florence,
Turfway the next night, where it was just Starship and Night Ranger, they played more songs.
Yeah,
there obviously. I don't know if they played what's the one song they have? No Way Out.
Yeah, they did.
They play that, which is an okay. It's like one of those songs like I don't know if I like, but I think I really like it, but I'm not sure if I really hate it too. I don't know, but it was cool hearing them do that at soundcheck.
Yeah,
I just can't remember if they did it live, but
that was hold on, was it you talking about Find Your Way Back, right?
No,
On your
no.
way
This
back.
is a song called "Winds of Change." Is that what I said it was?
No, you
On Your
said
Way
no
Back.
way, no way.
That
Yeah,
might
I
be
don't.
another song. But anyways, "Winds of Change" I think is the song I'm referring to. But it was cool hearing a little bit deeper dive, and I think I don't know if they do a couple more Jefferson Airplane songs, which they can do because David Friedberg was
Yeah.
in that era, and it's still basically this is a continuation of Paul Kattner's Jefferson Starship, which Jefferson Starship started off basically as a Paul Kattner solo record, and he was basically the main guy in Jefferson Airplane. And then when he passed on, basically his daughter, I'm sure he probably already had it set up. Yes, continue this on. Um, but yeah, I mean, fuck, price of admission alone is just hearing Jane. That
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. And it was cool talking to David Friedberg. I was like, man, you fucking wrote Jane. And but what was cool was he gave credit where credit was due. He's like, yeah, Kattner wrote that awesome beginning, and then me and my buddy had written most of the song, and he said his buddy's name, and then he's like, Craig with the weird ass last name.
Ito,
Yeah, he's
Chiquisio,
like,
whatever.
yeah, he said he arranged it all, so he gave credit to everybody, but that song was basically, was created by him, and god damn, Kathy Richardson, she can belt it out just as good or as better than Mickey Thomas ever did, and Mickey Thomas is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah, I couldn't believe how well she sounded singing those songs.
Yeah. We
So
were
I
standing
made
out
a
in the
comment to
lobby.
Andy. Yeah,
and you need someone like that because you got, when you think she's covering
Both parts.
vocals from Grace Slick, Marty Balin, Mickey Thomas. Am I missing someone in that whole fucking thing? I can't remember. But yeah, so there's a lot of different ranges you have to cover, and she does a really fantastic job with that. Now on to Night Ranger. I always enjoyed. Does anybody know leading up to this how long is Night Ranger going to play? And you have people typing in 35 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm like, yeah, you don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. So I mean, I think I would probably be one of the few people outside the band that maybe would know something, right? So Joe Blow from Wichita, Texas, not Kansas, Texas. He's on there going 40 fucking minutes. I'm like, where are you grabbing this from? Right.
Yeah.
All right. So Night Ranger plays about 50, 55 minutes. All right. Yes, it's not as long, but listen, the vibe is fucking great. It's cool seeing Night Ranger in this huge venue. Obviously, if you were on Night Ranger's page, you saw where I was at. I mean, I stayed right behind Kelly's kit so I could get the crowd out there. And so the live video was fantastic.
Yeah, it's good stuff,
just,
man.
just being there. But even I noticed, I mean, you just like anything, you're around it long enough, you notice differences, right? Like when we saw him in Marysville at that Balloon Fest, it was kind of a little bit of a,
Yeah, that wasn't.
Anyways, I could tell Brad was really loose. Like, if he's just his solos, he's adding extra stuff, and it's fun, but no one else, unless you're really hardcore, maybe notice it. But I think what they do live is probably a little bit different from what's on the record. So if you're not seeing them every night, you're like, oh, this solo is a little bit different or whatever. It's cool. I could just tell from even from the live stuff he did every day that Marysville show was different. Where I'm getting at with this is I'm right behind Kelly. And after the show, I'm eating with Eric and Brad. And I'm like, hey, I don't know if it was just because I was, right there on Kelly's ass, just right up there, and maybe that's it. But was Kelly beating the fuck out of these drums tonight? And they were both like, yes. So they get that adrenaline sometimes a different adrenaline first night of the tour, and we want to impress, and wow, look at all these people, and the crowd's going great. You'll get that, and so for all the people, good.
They had that walkway coming out into the audience in the center a little bit.
Which
that had to be cool.
Well, here's another thing too, right? How many times does the non-headliner get to use that walkway?
Exactly.
So either two things happen. Bret Michaels, cool as fuck, do it, we don't care, or Night Ranger got their hand smacked the next night or something.
Yeah.
Hey, don't use that. But usually when you have a, the ego ramp or whatever they call it, you're not supposed to do it if you're not the headliner. Probably the biggest story out there is you have that great footage of Leonard Skinner, 1977, I think. Probably either opening up for the Stones, if I remember correctly. But anyways, I know it's 77 because they got Steve Gaines as the guitar player. But they were told don't use the ego ramp. And you see, Rosington and Alan Collins and Steve Gaines, out there doing their solos in front, and Johnny Van Zant pushes them out there. Probably I would say Sweet Home Alabama. I'm trying to think of where they would have the three guitar songs going at once, which there's a few Skinner songs like that. But you see it, and you see like them kind of hesitate, and he pushes them out, and that was kind of a big no. And so yeah, what you were saying, that ego ramp and them going out there, and you do see some excitement. You have a lot of people are there for Bret.
Sure.
So
where was Night Ranger in the lineup?
It goes Jefferson Starship for about a half an hour, or as Norman say, half a hour.
Yeah.
And then Night Ranger for like 50 minutes, 55 minutes. And then Bret Michaels.
Yeah.
So and Night Ranger. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, yeah, we'll get into that. So again, if you want to go on there and be like, if you're one of these people that posted that, playing for 35 minutes, playing for 45 minutes, you were wrong. Can you tell me what happened? Send me a message. I was at the contract signing, and I guess they didn't listen to me or something. But anyways, and the other thing is, like, I don't want to go because Night Ranger's not playing a full set. All right. But one, I shouldn't know that. There's no need for you, to let the world know that, because no one gives a fuck if that's what you think. But if you're thinking that way, you shouldn't go. They got a deal right now. 4 lawn tickets, $80?
Yeah.
Right? I think that's all in. That's total. That's service charge and anything. It's like a sore Peter. You can't beat it. Go, you sit in the lawn, get some fucking beers, and just party, right? I mean, this is kind of like a show. It reminds me of like the shows you would have, again, I wasn't really shows I could go to, but you always see these festival shows, right? In the 70s, you had this act and this act and this act and 4 different bands. You don't get that a lot of that. Usually right now it's either you go see a band and it's just them, or you get a small, opening act. Very rarely do you get 3 big acts, and then on top of that, Steve Augeri and Mark McGrath. So anyways, I know the Night Ranger guys loved it. They sounded great as always. Again, you're going to have to play your hits. They do Night Ranger the song with a drum solo. People fucking going ape shit for that. People love the damn Yankees. I think they played High Enough. I can't remember if they played Coming of Age, but no, they did High Enough. People loving that.
Hey, can I ask you a question that you might know?
No, but I will know the answer.
Carrie in the Mask. Do you know what that's about on the drum solo? If it's something you can't speak of, it's fine.
I don't know.
My friend who was with me, he's like, "Hey, what's that about?" I said, I really don't know.
Well, he started that in Lima.
I said, it's funny.
Carrie's a fun guy,
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I guess I have to ask him. Just
there you go.
Probably just for like shit like this, make people wonder.
Yeah. Do you remember in Lima when he had it on and Kelly didn't know it, and when Kelly looked at him, he kind of jumped?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I was just
Terry was
curious.
trying to get in his face, and Kelly's just playing on.
It seems to me it's just something he does for fun. Just why not? All right, carry on.
No, but anything we're missing from the Night Ranger set?
No, they played what, 9 songs?
I mean, they don't play their hits, which is what people go to mostly anyway. You know, people at that concert probably aren't a ton of the diehards.
Yeah, that concert's strictly going to be
right. They're not looking for the, you know, they're not mad because they didn't play anything off Man in Motion.
I don't know if you guys probably can't hear it, but you can see some of the video I haven't released yet.
Can't hear it. You're right.
It's a great crowd.
Yeah, what I loved, I don't know how packed the lawn was, but there was one picture that somebody took, and they were literally all the way to the right of the pavilion behind it on the lawn. And, you know, like a river bend, if you're to the right, you miss half the stage. Yeah. There was all this green space, and they're seeing half the stage, you know. I just thought, I guess they're either closer to the bathroom or the beer or both.
Yeah, both.
This would be at the end of Night Ranger. They're getting ready to do in a hot city, cool summer night.
Yeah.
And also, I got, I think, pretty much a very good recording. Hopefully, there's no titties in any of those smaller pictures below there. Of you know, the drum solo. Like, I'm right there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I almost got bit by the werewolf.
Yeah, and you don't really get to see Jack that well.
No.
From the crowd.
So I got, you know, a ton of good footage. So I will talk about the meet and greet is different for the Parti-Gras than it is for the regular Night Ranger shows, which it probably should be because it's more expensive at the Parti-Gras. All right. Yeah. Now there's reasons for that. There's a lot of hands and people being paid and fees going on top of everything, but if you do it, you get the group photo, and then they do a Q&A afterwards. And
the poster's a little different, right? They get assigned posters.
Yeah, they're going to be mailed. So I don't want to show. I don't know if I got permission to.
Yeah, but now I saw
the posters.
Yeah, I saw them. I saw them Friday.
Well, I mean, they're there. They're getting signed, but no one's getting them at the shows. They're going to mail them too. I just don't know if they, you know, want those out there yet.
No, but it's a cool looking poster.
It is very cool looking poster. Enough to where I was like, I want one. Now they're numbered. So
are they?
Yeah, they're machine numbered. And I was like, you know, I told Ed, like, you know, you got anything left over, I want one, which normally I don't do that with that stuff. Right. But that was cool enough where I was like, I wanted one. And he came out and he goes, here, have this one. And it was Jack had been testing the different Sharpies. So I have one with 4 Jack Blades signatures and different. Which I didn't. The one I didn't want it autographed, you know, like I wanted it, you know, plain and shiny. But I was like, I guess I'll probably have the only 4 Jack Blade autograph poster out there. But here, this is a good one. I don't know where to post it yet, but you see the
Brett. Well, he took a picture with Brett.
Yeah.
No, that's a girl, isn't it?
Oh, there was some guy took a picture with Brett.
Yeah, there's a guy. There's guys out there that look just like Brett and everything. And what I like more are the guys who think they look like Brett.
Oh yeah,
yeah, those are fun. But this broad, you know, I mean, she did it really.
Yeah,
she looked good.
I mean, it's like enough to where, like, you know,
a couple beers, you'd say, hey,
I know it would be the first time I woke up with some broad
with
a goatee and a cock. But
nothing but a good time, baby.
Here's the
a little unskinny bop.
Here's the photo, and I if you're on like my personal page, I think I posted it on my personal page, but there's Brett with the plate.
I didn't read it. What does it say?
Hey Brett,
Fans in Motion rules.
We gonna make you work tonight. Jackie B and then the rest of the guys signed it. And you can see this. Here's where I came upon Bret and Mark McGrath for the first time. Well, no, I'd already met Bret. I don't know if I'd met Mark yet. So the first time I met Mark would have been with Bret. So, so that probably gave me a little cred because first time Mark sees me, you know, with Bret. So
You're up Brett's ass. I mean,
yeah. But I mean, Mark again was a cool guy. So all right.
Did you meet Norman? Norman Voss.
Yeah, I saw Nora. Well, what's funny is
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes there.
So the first day that Night Ranger wasn't there and they were setting everything up, Bret Michaels was there, and the band. And I saw Norman and he's doing shit. So I was just like, hey, Norman, blah, blah, blah. He's like, hey man. And I could tell right away it wasn't clicking. I was like, Josh, fans of motion. He's like, oh fuck, and gave me a hug. He's like, I was like, dude, I'll be around, today and tomorrow, man. Go do your thing. And because they were getting all their shit set up. And I took a picture of like the venue, and I didn't realize at the time, but Bret was out there. So I told Ed, like, hey man, I don't know. This is before I met Bret. Like, I don't know how he'd be, but it's like I took a picture just like the venue out there, and I just thought it was local crew standing there. But 10 minutes later, while I'm sitting there talking to someone, I looked over and oh yeah, there's a guy in a cowboy hat. That's Bret Michaels. So I wasn't taking a picture of Bret, but again,
Sure.
After meeting him, I think Bret would probably be more pissed knowing that I was just taking a picture of everything else and not him. So the Q&A or the meet and greet's about the same. You go back, get your picture taken. And then they kind of, depending on, I think the meet and greet, maybe some of you get to be up front, maybe some of you in the back. I don't know. But anyways, they do a Q&A. So, people there are able to, ask them whatever questions they got. I'm surprised that, they just didn't ask this guy, we don't remember. Ask Josh. Ed didn't call on me. A little pissed, when people raise their, put my hand up. But they were, nothing crazy. If I can remember, how'd you guys get your start? Stuff like that. And then Jack and them talked a little bit about Rubicon and stuff. And there was someone who talked a little bit about Man in Motion and how Restless Kind was really important to him and stuff like that. But so that's a little bit different than the meet and greets that they have, when it's just them. And then they have a meet and greet where you get to watch like the first 6 songs from the side stage, which if you watch the Night Ranger live video, it'd be kind of where I was at, but it's on the other side. So if you look, they have like a palm tree all lit up and everything. And you can stand over there and watch. So that's a little bit different. And then, like I said, you get the autographed poster, and it is more of a poster. I won't say like a huge 24 by 36, but whatever, 16, 18, whatever the next size down would be. But
it's about the size of this.
Correct. I think a tad bit longer, maybe, and a tad bit skinnier.
Maybe, yeah, but maybe. It's approximately.
But it's almost like that. But it's kind of like holographic. It's got like, that real shiny,
like a little metallic too.
Yes, and it's really cool looking. I mean, it's got a really cool design. It's got the Parti-Gras dates on there. So I mean, it's really interesting. Like I said, if I can show it or whatever, maybe I'll talk to Ed tonight, see about posting it along with the podcast tomorrow. But and then when you're talking merch, now if you were at the Florence show that we're going to talk about here in a bit, some merch got diverted incorrectly. So we had Night Ranger had very little merch at the Turfway show. I think they had everything in small and maybe women's shirts, and that's it.
2 shirts.
Huh? Yes.
They had 2 shirts.
But
The Mick-
again, stuff, because Night Ranger, Parti-Gras Thursday, and then they were going to be Parti-Gras Saturday, Sunday, Friday being a little off kind of day. Stuff didn't get loaded correctly. So, but what they have at the shows are, I think they have the 40th anniversary shirt with the band on front. They got the Midnight Madness 40th anniversary shirt, like the
jersey.
the jersey shirt. I think
Like
they
the
have one of the
Dawn Patrol.
women's shirts, the hat, and
Didn't you post a picture of it or somebody?
Yeah.
I did. I posted in the comments. Someone
Yeah.
asked what they had.
'Cause
and
I was
just-
looking at it looks I want that. I need to get one of his jerseys.
Now, if you're on there and you're going to be like, hey, why don't they have this? Usually, when you're an opening band, you're allowed, Night Ranger.
This much space.
Yeah, you're allowed. Well, not even that. You're allowed 3 shirts, and they've got to be priced the same as ours. You can't be cheaper. And then Jefferson Starship. Okay, you're the opener. You've got 2 shirts, but again, got to be priced the same. So that's the stuff you got to think about. Why don't they have more shit? Well, that's the reason why. So I pretty much think I covered everything of Night Ranger. It was really cool when Jefferson Starship came off stage. The Night Ranger guys were all out there and they, were applauding them when they came back into the, the dressing room area. You had like a big area that had all the dressing rooms in that hallway. So if you saw Brad's post on his page just the other day, and it's just him with a guitar, that's where I'm talking about, that hallway. And so it was kind of cool seeing that, all the Night Ranger guys, clapping for Jefferson Starship and all that. Yeah, so I think anything else we're missing on Night Ranger and Parti-Gras? Go see it, man. It was fun.
Yeah. Looked like a good crowd.
Yeah, very much so. Let me see what we got here. 5 to 7K tonight in wherever they're at, Albany, New York.
That's another one of those one-offs. Are they doing that with Starship too?
I don't even think Starship's there.
It's just them or a local opener.
Yeah, this is kind of a unique gig because I think it's like one of those state fairs, and I think they went on like at 5 or something. That's why I'm getting. Time is it?
Sure.
7. We've been getting alert. Pictures of them at 7 o'clock and 7:15. So, but moral of the story is Night Ranger was on fire. The guys were pumped up for it, and they're playing to people that have never seen them before. So that's all good. And then, with that, I don't really remember much from Bret's show. I was again back with the guys. That's where we were eating, and I told you, hey, was Kelly beating the shit out of the drums tonight? So we're doing that while Bret's on. So I really, I don't know much about like the opening and stuff they did. I know this show was broke down. Bret comes out, does some.
Just a couple, like 3 songs.
He does some of his, and then then Mark McGrath comes out and does some of his. And I think I was out there for a little bit of Mark's. And I took some pictures and stuff and then came back in, and I know he played some more. And then I was going to go ahead and drive, because I had my vehicle. I was going to go ahead and drive at least maybe halfway to Florence, about a 4-hour drive. So, I went ahead and at that point kind of said my goodbyes and packed up, my stuff and decided to hit the road because every band comes out at the end. So you got Bret, Mark McGrath,
Steve
Bret again, Steve. So when Steve was on stage, I was there because I and Mark McGrath, man, he's one of those guys like, oh shit, he's easy to work with. Like if you watch that first Night Ranger video where I think, right? No, yeah. I think it's the first one. No, it's not the first one. The first one when like it starts out with them walking out on stage at the very end, I hit the wrong fucking button and it flips around to my fucking fat face, so like, fuck. So I end it. The second one, I can't remember what song it was, but I'm there recording and I look behind me and looking out of the curtain because I'm actually like on the stage with the band. They just happen to have their soundboard up there on the side. So I'm up there with, Angela and Eric, and I'm kind of up there with them. So I look behind, I'm going live, and I look behind me and peeking out of the curtain is Mark McGrath. Now, I've already met him at this point, so I was enough to where I go, hey, Mark, kind of told him I'm going live. And so I turned it, he kind of, shook yes, like I'm cool with it, and turned it around. So if you watch the end of that second video, you'll see Mark, rocking out the Night Ranger. And the reason why I remember Steve Augeri now is because I was recording just on my phone, not live, Mark watching Steve Augeri, and he's, getting into it, and he turns around and he sees me, and I just kind of tell him I'm not live, and he just keeps flowing with it, and was great. So yeah, then Steve Augeri. And then I think, he plays about 4 or 5 songs, just Brett. And then at the end, they come out and it's all of Jefferson Starship, all of Night Ranger, Mark McGrath, Steve Augeri. I just didn't want to wait 6 songs.
What do they play at the end?
Sweet Home Alabama. I know that.
All right. There's a couple songs like that's out there. I don't
You don't have to give it away.
Well, I don't want to. I don't know if
okay.
If they're going to do something like a different one. So Sweet Home Alabama was one of them. And honestly, I don't know if I fucking remember the other 2.
Yeah, I mean, Brett's staple for that was always Rock and Roll All Night. He used to bring everybody up for other tours and do Rock and Roll All Night.
I don't know if it's Rock and Roll All Night because I think I would have remembered that one.
Yeah, well,
but there are maybe 1 or 2 other songs I think with Sweet Home Alabama that they can go to.
Okay.
So but in that case, I think I saw the video, or you're confirming it, that they did Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
But like I said, I didn't stick around for that. And then when I got driving, I just got into a groove, and how I drove all the way to Florence that night. Got into a little part where I was listening to Grand Funk Railroad. These fuckers are good. And then for about 20 minutes, I was pissed because I realized they're not in the Rock and Roll of Fame. And I'm just like, oh, fuck are these guys? Someone just sees me driving down the highway. They just see some guy going,
carrying on,
just bitching at himself. And I was, man, I'm just like, it's hit after hit or staple after staple. Just like, how the fuck is Grand Funk Railroad? And we're American, man. You can take that song and throw it away. I don't even listen to that. Foot stomping music and Inside Looking Out, and then you got Some Kind of Wonderful. I mean, they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just for that part. Can I get a witness? I mean, God,
that never happened.
That's my favorite part.
I'm getting closer to my home. Mistreat her. Mistreat her. I think Deep Purple. And
but they could cover it.
Well, they have to get through all the rappers before they get to the Grand Funk Railroad.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, I'm okay with, hell, some of those rappers are bigger rock stars than the rock stars. To me, rock and roll is more of an attitude, right?
I know, but you're leaving legendary bands out. There's plenty of time to induct.
Well, that's not the fucking rap stars' fucking problem. That's fucking rock and roll. I'm saying problem.
I'm with you. I'm on your side.
But I don't get how Cheap Trick's in, and you don't have Styx in. You don't fucking have Grand Funk Railroad. You don't have Foreigner. No, fucking Foreigner. I'm not the biggest fucking Foreigner fan, but Jesus Christ, who's not 9 years old and Jukebox
REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, REO Speedwagon.
It's a popularity club. That's all it is.
If nothing else, for High Infidelity alone, they should be in the Hall of Fame.
And I can't.
Oh God, yes.
And it pisses. I can't go to a cookout, right? Any cookout, my family, and there's always someone has an aunt that looks like Kevin Cronin, and that just pisses you off. Like, God damn it,
why aren't you in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, why are you in the Hall of Fame? I'm Aunt Shelley. I don't give a fuck.
You should be in it too.
Hop in the car. We're gonna go see some.
We're gonna go see you up on stage.
Yeah. But so anyways, it's a good party event, dude. Brett sounded great. The guys, Norman and I can't remember the guitar player's name, but fucking met him, Matt or something like that. They're great. Listen, Steve Augeri, I don't mind Steve Augeri. I don't one way or another, but when he's out there singing separate ways, you're like, oh, dude, bring it on. It's like it's cool shit. So listen, go buy yourself a $20 lawn seat. Go drink expensive alcohol and have a good fucking time. All right.
Have nothing but a good time.
Yes. Drink enough alcohol, you can go do the unskinny bop.
Hey.
Now, see, I was never much of an unskinny bop guy. I was more like you can't feel ugly in the dark guy. But
yeah,
to each their own. All right. So
you drove all right to Florence.
Yeah. So just like Albany tonight, they have dates off in between this. It makes more economical sense to plug in some dates.
Right.
So you got Albany, New York today, which you're listening to this tomorrow. Maybe you're listening to it Friday, depending on how fucking motivated I am.
yeah.
But so Friday, Bret Michaels opening night, Thursday. They play Saturday in Pittsburgh,
Burgettstown, Pennsylvania,
and then they played
New Jersey.
Yep.
Homedale.
But Friday they played Florence, Kentucky, which is right south of Cincinnati. Basically southern Cincinnati. If she was a small town girl growing up in South Cincinnati, it would be Florence.
Y'all.
So and it was at the casino, Turfway Casino.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, it wasn't bad.
No,
I guess, but it's basically this big ass conference room.
Yeah, it is not a venue for
it.
It was a huge room.
It's huge. But it's flat floored.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I would assume they use it for corporation events and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the one whole side of the building is just glass, and you
Right.
can see out to the the racetrack and everything. But it's got a stage at the one end, and like I said, it's big ass air conditioned area. Just kind of suck if you're back a little bit farther. It's not inclined, so you're
but level. The stage was higher. The stage was higher.
And obviously Brent and Andy made their way.
Yeah, it's the shortest traveling I've had to do since we started this podcast. 35 minutes.
No sound check that day.
It was interesting.
I think they were going to, maybe some stuff got pushed back. Like I hung out, bullshit with some of the crew guys, and then you guys showed up. And
when I got there, Jefferson Starship was sound checking, and I'm with my wife. She came to the show, and we're walking down the hall, and I'm trying to find you two guys.
Yeah, we were in the other hall trying to go the opposite way.
No, and Andy's phone kept going to voicemail, so I thought maybe he was in a spot where he wasn't getting phone calls. Didn't know. In any event, I don't abuse my all access pass. I'm not going to abuse it. I treat it with respect the way Ed expects us to. In any event, I start walking into the sound check, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm trying to find the guys."
I'm Brent Walter, bitch.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the guys, and I'm like, and I do have this. I said, "So we're not going to get kicked out." Well, I'm not going in there. I'm like, "How many times have you done this?" Well, that doesn't matter. You're not allowed in there. I'm like, I have an all access pass.
I actually am allowed in. I've been with Brent where we weren't allowed in, and we got in.
Yeah, I said, Mike, just so she went and sat down. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Because I'm trying to get things together. But
Listen, I'm on her side. I am I
Well,
am
no,
weary of anything Brent's leading.
nah.
Like,
I'll lead you down the right road. And so I go in the
yeah,
hallway,
wake up next day,
and
fucking
and
ass
also
sores and condoms all around you.
she's holding the phone up, and it's Andy. So I call him. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, where are you? He's. I'm just walking out of the sound check, and
Yeah, you were just
no,
there.
I'm like, no shit,
Yeah, I was there. So when you were calling, I was talking to so the guy who produced that show, Josh, is a friend of mine, Leroy Ellington. And I was talking to him, and when Brent was calling me, and I was in the middle of a conversation, I was like, just hang tight, Brent, just hang tight. I'll call you back.
Yeah. But I thought you were on the dead spot. That's the only
Yeah,
reason I kept calling.
yeah. So then I called to see where you were and all that. But yeah, I'd gotten there, got there a little early. I think when I talked to Josh, he'd said he wasn't sure about sound check, and I was like, that's fine. So I'm here. What do you want me to do? And he's like, you can come in. I mean, there's nothing going on. I basically went back and talked to Leroy for most of the time and talked to Ed, and then had to chase down a Coke Zero for Josh because he was parched.
What the fuck was I doing?
I don't know, but you kept saying, "Dude, can you find me a cold drink? Like I'm dying here." And they didn't have any concessions set up at the time,
Yeah,
and that's where
yeah.
Leroy kicked because there was a bunch of soft pop in the back,
Well,
but it wasn't cold.
yeah, well,
It's just
well,
sitting
I
there.
didn't even know that there was like an access area,
But
but
then
maybe I had to be busy doing something
you were
because
running around filming videos, and I think Ed kept sending you out to count seats and all this stuff. And
we were just wanting to see what section
yeah,
seat was, but I was doing something else because it was bad enough where I was like, dude,
yeah. He's like, "Can you do any?" As I called Leroy, he gave me they have an employee break room, and he showed me where to get soft drink for Josh. And I mean, Josh is just like,
yeah. Well, it's
I
like,
think he thought it was Jagermeister, but it wasn't. It was just Coke Zero.
well, it's like, how like you're the Night Ranger guys and get pulled every direction. Eddie, I need
Yeah.
this, and Ed gets it. It's like I felt like that with, Andy. Like whatever I was doing, like I can't remember now, but I
Yeah.
was immersed in something, and I just remember like, Andy, if you can find me a soda, and it had to be soda. I didn't want water. I needed caffeine.
Yeah.
So and you hey, you came out and you saved me. That was one of the best Coke
It's
Zeros I've had in forever.
Yeah.
And then you're like, don't sit it by Ed. Move it over to the table.
So
Because
Mr. Asshole, he
Ed
comes
sets
out.
up this whole
Yeah.
workstation when he's
Oh,
in
yeah.
town.
Yeah,
And he's like, don't put it down by Ed. That is all
well,
important stuff.
I just didn't want, one of us knocking it over, and next thing you know, we got soda
Yeah.
pop everywhere, and
Well,
and Brent's nowhere around to be blamed.
Yeah.
And Andy comes out with pop. He's like,
Yeah.
free
I got
pop.
myself
All you
one.
can drink back there. I'm like, well, I want one. He goes, I can't get you one. I'm like,
Yeah,
what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? He wouldn't go get me one.
Yeah, not for you, sir.
I mean, listen, that's the one thing, like I've said it before. The biggest thing like I like about this is I can go out, go in the crowd, see Night Ranger, and then when I get a little itchy, I can just go, I'm done. And I can go backstage, and suddenly I'm by myself, no one's around me.
Yeah.
I can breathe. The other thing is, oh, I'm thirsty, I can just go around, grab a soda, water, anything like that. And then like, their catering is always good. I actually like when I go do this stuff, I get more sleep because I'm a fucking dog, around me, my kid,
Yeah.
not waking up in the middle of the night just to wake up and put his butt against me and fart and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
It's like, aren't you tired? I'm like, this is the most rest I fucking get.
Yeah.
And I walk around so much that and like there's good healthy food there that I lose weight, like it'd be totally, some people are like, I'm on the road, I gain weight. I'm like, I'd probably, like, dude,
No.
I ate a shit ton of fucking carrots and broccoli. They had this steamed broccoli with a little, just a tad bit of butter, so fucking good. And these carrots, you know what? Yeah, maybe they had a little bit of sugar in them, but I mean, it's still healthier than eating other stuff with sugar. And dude, I'm just chowing down
I
these
think
carrots and broccoli. That's the stuff I I
a
do a
little
whole podcast on the carrots and broccoli over, Night Ranger.
what a little behind the curtain stuff is the few times I've been around you and the guys off days and stuff. They eat really pretty healthy. Like I guess they've been doing it for so long that they know you have to eat good. Like we sat down and had dinner with Kelly he was eating, we weren't. He's eating a salad and like a chicken breast. Like, it's a hotel. I'd be getting like, give me a buffalo chicken sandwich, give me the fries and onion rings. And he's like, having a salad and eating like a piece of fish. And then Brad had a nice healthy breakfast one morning. I think the most unhealthy I've seen him eat was when we went out to dinner that one night. I think he ordered some chicken wings.
Well, again, but that was after the show. If they're
After the
going to
show,
have
yeah.
anything, I mean, who wants to eat,
Heavy, yeah.
heavy
Yeah.
and then, go play rock star and run around on stage.
Blood sticking out. Cake. Should have had the 2 pieces of cake.
But it was funny. You talk about I don't know who I was with. Maybe Jack. It was after they had played, and we were coming out of the dressing room, and in the hallway was Brad with an ice cream cone, just chowing down, right? And I didn't really think anything of it coming out, and I think it was Jack. I can't see it being Eric or Kelly or Eric or Carrie. I don't think it was Kelly, so it had to be Jack. And just like, holy shit, Brad, you're eating an ice cream cone? Like, because they always eat pretty healthy. And here's just Brad going on an ice cream cone. And just, I haven't even thought of that till you kind of, said something about it. But,
Anyway,
but yeah, I mean, you can make bad choices there. I mean, they've got.
Well, there was a pizza place in the damn casino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have had a pizza.
And like I said, you can, because remember, so at Florence, obviously they're not sound checking. There's some dead time. So we all go to the local restaurant there and to get something to eat. Now, when I was there earlier, so like they didn't have like catering, but Ed had ordered something, they brought it to him. I had already I showed up later, and I'd already eaten lunch, and Ed had it's like, you want the other half of this, sandwich, which was the
club, wasn't it?
Club. And I was like, yeah, so my fat ass ate it, and it was fucking good. Right? Maybe not the healthiest, but
that's the same sandwich you got at dinner, right? With us?
That's how good it fucking was, right? And then later that night, I was back here and I saw Ed had, they'd ordered their night meals. He had ordered the same thing twice. I meant to fuck with him about it,
He just said you could eat all that.
Oh, like, yeah, we go on the same fucking mental plane. But I forgot. But yeah, that's how good that club was when we all went. We had you guys, I know Melissa and
Kathy and
Kathy Kirkman,
their friend
Lane.
Tammy was there too.
What? Oh, you're talking about when we? Oh, okay, yeah.
Brent, you may not remember, but your wife was there.
No, I thought you were talking about a different place.
Your wife was there. I just remember Brent, all right, hey, this Angus, where was it born and raised? Did you get did you stick your head up a butcher's ass? How was it?
Wait, it's got to be your bull.
Yeah, and that's all I remember. And
you don't remember you talking about eating dingo dick? You must have said that word 50 times in a half hour.
First of all,
I looked at the ladies. I went. That word has never been said that many times in this short amount of time.
Well, dingo dick's a delicacy in Australia. Most people
in the outback.
Yeah, I mean, most people, they go there, they think, I'm going to act Australian and eat kangaroo cock. But the Australians, they just look at you like, nah, we know you're local if you're eating dingo dick.
God, I shouldn't have brought it up. I got to hear it again.
I'm surprised I remember.
Got to hear it all again.
But you know what? Dingo dick rolls off the tongue.
Oh, no. I'm looking away.
I don't even know how we got started on that, unless they were talking. They were probably talking about getting their meat.
No, it just, you brought it up out of nowhere.
They were probably talking about getting shit cooked medium rare. It's like, that's fine, but if you ever have kangaroo cock, you want that shit well done, or just chewing, chewing,
It's a tough meat.
Yes, it gets very chewy, that kangaroo
very
cock.
sinewy.
That place had some of the best French fries I've ever eaten in my life.
Well, look, I'll say this. I think Josh, you and I were talking at some point in time after the show.
Are you a dingo dick guy or kangaroo cock? See, I'm dingo.
I go local.
Yeah, same here.
I go local.
Get a little bit of Vegemite on the side. Yeah.
No, we don't get to hang out much. We don't go to many shows together,
Yeah,
and
I'm not complaining.
we had a good. I had a lot of fun. I was doing a lot of laughing, and it was a fun night. Like I was so, like you don't know how much you need a night of just having fun. Sometimes your life gets to you, and of course the music, the soundtrack is fantastic and all
Well,
that. So
and then it hurt that you guys had front row seats too.
that
Yeah,
just never that
that
never
helps.
hurts. But
No.
like Josh was coming out and taking pictures, and I think it's cool for him because he knows he's got a place that he can actually stand and not be in somebody's way that's going to be pissy because it's just one of us. So
I have about
some of those
25 pictures of him with
yeah
this little selfie stick.
some of those cool shots that Josh can get is because he's in the front taking those shots. The rumors in the air, man. Oh Jesus, you and I are in the same plane on that. I was filming you, filming it. And the thing is, Gary, who's in the picture there to Brent's over Brent's right shoulder, my buddy Gary.
There we go.
That's the Fans in Motion meetup. And there were more people there. We didn't get him in the picture because we didn't really make a formal announcement about it. But Gary was taking a picture of you taking a picture of Night Ranger. He's like, that's funny to me. I was like, yeah, it's good stuff. So
I got so many good. I haven't got to edit them yet. Like here's just a random photo.
yeah, it was amazing, man. It was fun. And front row, I mean, if you can ever get it, if you can ever afford it, it's so worth it. And my friend, and so in this picture, you see the guy behind me, Alan, the other bald guy. He'd never seen Night Ranger. Same age that he's 54-ish, 53. Loved him. We all went to school together, and we were talking before the show. He's like, how have I never seen these guys? I said, I don't know, but you're in for a treat. We had front row seats, and he was just like, this is truly amazing. Like, this is just phenomenal. And then, not to get too far ahead, but at one point, we're all staying back from the stage, and Jack says, screw that, let's go, everybody come up. And Alan's we're all right in front of Jack. Like, there was a point in time, and I have some pictures I didn't post, but I sent them to you, Josh, I think, where I had to lean back to take the picture because I'm right at Jack's foot. Like I had to move my hands so he didn't step on my feet. And just for a fan like us, it's awesome. It's beyond awesome, and you can feel the vibration. Like Jack was actually stepped on the speaker up front, and it slipped. And Gary put his hand on it, and Jack's like, "Whoa!" He's like, "Shit," because they weren't mounted; they were just sitting there.
Oh, no wonders.
But
I don't know what you're doing, Brent, but keep it up. Never mind.
Yeah,
keep it up.
the show was.
That's how close Jack was getting to us.
Yeah, I mean,
and he went to put his foot on the monitor, and it slid into me, and he went, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got it. I was holding it,
Yeah. So, it was.
I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, but it was almost too close.
I'll remember that next time. Like, hey,
no. I wasn't expecting as I'm holding the camera up him to get like that close to it.
Got another little meet and greet pic, and as always, the guys were just awesome. I know it's cool and cliche. Wow. It's a little braggy, but it was cool, and they're always cool to us. And I mean, I was telling Brent before we started recording, I was like, I feel confident that they don't know who I am, but like I think they recognize me from seeing me around here and there. Like they know you, Josh, and they know Brent. Brad knows Brent for sure, and but it was cool because I brought my friend Alan, who'd never seen him, and got to meet the band, and he. I mean, all night he was like, Andy goes, I don't know how to ever thank you for this. I was like, shit, you thanking me, man. It's 3 years ago we were bored in a pandemic and we started talking about Night Ranger. That's how it happens.
And
what was cool. I'm sorry.
Let me say this before I forget. Talking about like bringing new people, and I think that's what's going to be great about Parti-Gras is you're going to have a lot of new eyeballs on Night Ranger. But my aunt brought her
I saw her,
who's never, I mean, she's probably late 20s, so doesn't know anything about Night Ranger, and she now wants to go to shows like to where, as they were leaving, she's like, "Do you have any guitar picks for Tasha?" And I was like, "I remember I had two, and yes. I gave you one. I was like, do you need this other one? If not, I always want to have one on because they bail me out of stuff I had a handful of picks one time, and it got me and Kelly out of a situation. So I always try to keep one, and you have a, I was like, I got one. And so she ran all the way back up to the locked doors, and I gave it to her. But yeah, I want to get that out that, just like your friend, there's new people just like, how did I never know about Night Ranger and Dingo Dick?
Yeah, so for the experience, for Alan, and I won't speak for him, but just what him and I talked about was,
I won't speak for him, but
I will talk about him. Yeah, he loves, Sentimental Street and 4 a.m. and Sing Me, like those songs are just, he's like, they're so classic. Not even counting like Sister Christian. And Alan's a piano player too, so he's really enjoying the keyboard. I really wanted to give him a shot. I was hoping we could do a sound check and get him in there to meet Eric and talk to Eric, but I didn't want to push anything. But it was fun to experience with somebody who knew, and I got 2 picks, and I ripped Jack's set list off the stage, and gave it to Alan, and he was just like, because Alan's a huge memorabilia collector, like. He spends a lot of money on merch and memorabilia. So anyway, but the concert itself was fantastic. The big surprise for me, and we got Rumors, and I just, yeah, 2 damn Yankees songs, because Alan loves High Enough. He's like, God, if I could just hear High Enough, because I never saw damn Yankees either. And I said, I didn't know for sure, because I'd seen the set list, but I didn't like memorize it, and I was like, I think you're going to get High Road, but I don't know. And then when he played it, Alan was like, God, this night's just about perfect. I said, yeah, it's pretty cool. But he was just on cloud 9. He's like, this is great. This band is so good. And of course, he's got his hands on the stage. And
man, I would love to like tap into that rush they, have to feel. Like, again, when you've done it for anything for 40 years, it does probably become a job. If I go, hey, Andy, do you remember that time when you were in the office back in 93? And like, remember Joe was there?
Yeah, it was great.
That's just asking them, hey, do you remember that show you played?
Yeah, it was great. Joe was great. Yeah, that's fantastic.
And then you see just how it's like, yeah, we're talking about the radio, whatever, and oh, all right, we're going on. And it's just, then it's this fucking surge.
Yeah, it's 1,500 people just going crazy.
And I felt, I don't want to say I felt, but I'm on the side of the stage filming, and guitar pick lands at me. Now, either one got thrown and batted, or probably I would say Carrie on the side of the stage. He's pretty good at that. If he sees me out there flicking a guitar pick and trying to hit me with it. Anyways, this landed in front of me and just landed there, and I'm not too far from the crowd. So what I did, so they see it, and they want the pick, right? And it's just laying right there in front of me. So I don't want to like throw it to an exact person. I ain't want to do. So I just pick it up and just flip it over to the top of that amp and let them, whoever gets it, get. But I'm like, imagine like it wasn't like cool for me because it's not my pick. They don't want it for me. But can you imagine like being that, like, this is Josh Christopherson guitar pick.
It's currency.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's just like, how cool would that have been if like for them, like, here I am throwing the pick, and like they're begging me for it. But can you imagine like, if that was your pick, and they're begging you for your pick? It's just like, I thought about that a little bit, and like, that's got to be cool, right? But then again, you do something 100,000 times over 2 decades, you maybe lose. But
Brad handed one right to me, his yellow picks.
Yeah, same here.
He's like, here, man, and he said, give it back when you're done. And I was like, well, you should take it now. I'm not a guitar player. But I gave it to Alan, and he loved it. And and I'll have to say another highlight for me, and I haven't shared it, and I can put it up if you want me to. I get a text message during the show. I feel my phone vibrate, so I look at like, who the fuck? Like, Teresa knows I'm at a concert, And everybody who would be messaging me about Night Ranger is at the concert with me. So who was messaging me, right? And it's Ed Repepi is texting me a picture he took of all of us staring at the stage.
That's cool.
I can try to pull it up while you guys are talking. See if I can put it behind me. It was. I just got a kick. I looked over at him. He winked. I was like, and I said, I mouthed him. I said, I can never thank you enough for that. Just what you do for us as this podcast thing, you know. So a little shout out to Ed. Let's see if I can find this picture. I think I can pull it up while you guys talk
now,
amongst
one
yourselves.
thing that
I'll
was-
go.
Good, Brett.
Oh no, I got to bail here in a minute because I got to go pick up my kid. As we're getting this picture taken, or getting done with this picture taken, Andy walks over and he's talking here. I'll shut up for a second.
All right, there you go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's me. Wait a minute. There's me,
Gary.
Alan, Gary, his wife, Brent. But
I
anyway,
don't see Chris.
no, I don't know. You probably pushed her to the back, didn't you?
No, I put her to the side because this jackass
But,
behind me.
But look at my face, man. I mean, look, I'm just. It's just for me. It's absolute joy.
Now,
I mean,
imagine
I'm
being
in-
on the stage looking down at you. Like,
I know, like, God, look at that.
I'm pretty sure that guy
ass.
wants to suck my cock.
Now, and I'll tell you one last thing that was really cool is behind me, the people behind me. Like when they started playing Rumors, all I hear behind me is, "Oh fuck yeah!" Like some guy's losing his shit behind me, and I'm like, I want to high five. I was like, dude, thank you for, you know, you're not just here for Sister Christian, man. So anyway, thank you, Ed, for the fun picture.
The one
Some
thing
guy
that-
behind me kept pulling the chair aside and pushing Christina aside to go off and piss.
Yeah,
He came back and I said,
saw
"This
him.
ain't." I said, "This ain't the Cumberland Gap. You're going somewhere else."
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he started again. And I turned around. I said, "What part of you're going down your aisle? Don't you
Yeah.
understand?" And he called me a dick or something like that. I didn't really care, but that's why you don't see her
Yeah.
because I changed spots with her. So I got tired of seeing him push her, you know, away, and she was like, "What the hell?"
I
Um,
dated a girl that had a nickname Cumberland Gap.
Anyway, before I go, after we took that pic,
Oh yeah.
Andy's over talking to this guy, and he's like, "Come over here," and we meet this guy named Tim Steele, and Tim Steele is from right there in northern Kentucky. I forget exactly where he said, but Andy's like, "This guy, he watches like all our shows."
He motions to me, and I walk over. I was like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" He says what he says. He goes, "I watch all your shows, man." I'm like, "What?" And then I guess that's his wife or whoever. And she's like, "No, seriously, he watches all of your shows. He's seen every episode." I was like, "Well, holy shit!"
Well, you
I
know,
was
I
like,
like
Brent.
like Tim Steele already. You know what? You know,
He's
can't
our
go
kind
wrong
of
with the
people.
last name is Steele. And I tell you what, you kind of like what you're just saying. It was after the show. I see someone. You know, I'm back behind the curtain, kind of, but like if you're out front, you can see back where the backstage is. I see someone kind of like waving. I think they're waving like for Brad or someone. You know, I kind of look around like, who the fuck is around here? You know, and it's like they want you.
You're like, who?
Yeah,
Me?
so I walk
got no
around
pics.
and I'm like, you know, I don't, you know, but I've met him before where like I've already told her like when you meet me, mention that, and it's the cafeteria tray.
Oh yeah.
She was in Bristol when they did that
Oh,
acoustic
okay.
show. She had that
And then-
cafeteria tray where she had drawn on it,
Yes.
and I was able to take it backstage and get it signed for her. And
Yes.
bring out.
I remember
And
that.
I told her then, it's like, you know, I doesn't matter anything. I don't really remember that much, but I was like, just say cafeteria train is going to come back. Like, and she said
Yeah.
cafeteria. I'm like, oh yeah, you know. Then it came back. I'm like Bristol, Tennessee, and then it all came back. But yeah, just meeting people that are fans of the show and whatever.
It's weird because what I mean, I don't. It's self-deprecating. I don't know that people really watch the show. You know, you think they do, but you don't know it. And then out of nowhere, somebody like this Tim Steele, he just, hey man, and he just wanted to. We took a quick picture with him, but it was cool to meet someone who's as passionate as we are about the band. I mean,
Yeah.
He's like, I love these guys. I said, all we're trying to do is keep them going and keep
I always
the
like
talk
when they ask
so
me about.
Tim was a great guy.
They'll be like, hey, how's Dawson and this or whatever.
Yeah, and Andy.
And I'm like, how the fuck does he know this?
Well, now
shit?
it's got to be when they ask about Andy, like the dog or the
No one gives a fuck about you. I automatically assume you're talking about the dog.
Well, and before we forget, Brent, did we hanging out with Melissa and Kathy and Tammy? Man, was that just not?
Well, Kathy,
it's like we've known each other forever. You
oh,
just
ever.
walk up, you get hugs, and it's again, we say it so much. It's what's so great about what we've done here, what we've created, and I get comments too about people, Josh, and I don't know if you get them, but they talk about how they like that the page it's friendly. You know,
except for me.
I mean, minus the administrator, but I don't mention that. But I think like you had that big post before about don't be an ass, and I was talking to Greenway about it. He's like, good on him for putting that up there. He goes, I've seen some people that are new and I comments, and he goes, I'm like, what are you doing, man? This page isn't like that. And I said, well, Josh,
don't know what set me off. Someone posted something,
but I said he tries to keep it. Him and Brent. I said, I'm not approving that shit.
I responded. I was like, you're a dipshit, blah 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 blah. And then I don't want to ban him right away because I want him to see what I wrote, and I want them to try to come back with something, and then the rest of the films just right on him too.
Like a bunch of ants.
And I'm usually like, you know what, just fucking block him. And I think I'd had an issue with that guy before, but I don't know what. Maybe it was Starship stuff, but it was
it was a good post and needed to be a nice reminder. And again, just the people. I think Brent said it so many times: is we don't do much. It's all the people on the page. I mean, we're up to what 8,400 now, Josh?
8,500. Yeah.
I mean, astonishing, and all because we love this one band. So,
well, I wanted to say because I said I got a split. Kathy was able to give Jack while he was on stage a Beatles 45.
Yeah,
and Jack had said it on a show he was on. It was his first record he ever had. So she had the record and she wanted to give it to him.
Wow.
And they got it all on video. So if anybody saw him getting a record, it was pretty cool. That's what it was about. And the other thing is, what's that?
You said that was Kathy?
Yeah, Kathy did that. And I'm seeing all these pictures that I didn't take that are from my exact perspective. There's these girls all around us taking pictures and people right behind us that are on this page.
Yeah.
So hi, everybody.
You give them film cards. Oh,
so,
here. Okay, speaking of the film cards, I guess it just shows how successful we are. I kind of went around during the two shows, the Parti-Gras show and the one in Florence, and I took pictures I saw them wearing a Night Ranger shirt, took pictures of them, and I made that post, a day or two ago on the Night Ranger page or whatever. And I would take a picture. I'm like, listen, I'm going to put on Night Ranger socials. I just don't know when, maybe never. I don't know. But I'd hand him a film card and be like, but this is my page and podcast. Just go there. There's 9,000 of it, whatever. And I would bet 4 out of every 5. I'm already on there, man. I know you, Josh.
That's cool.
I feel bad because, did I meet them? Have I already met them? Or
it's not possible to know everything.
But oh well, there's people that know me that would argue that they
local police,
I would think bail
bondsman,
but then I looked at it
clinics.
as kind of like maybe I shouldn't look at it as a bad thing. Like that's just how great it's becoming or successful it's becoming. Is they're already on there, and I'm sure some of them I probably should know, and just don't. And I'm sure there's some like our lurkers, just on there, and we've never met, but they're on there, and they know. I mean, it's like I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but probably like 3 Sides, back before we knew Mike and all that stuff. I listen to them a couple of times a month, but never once did I click like. Never once did I comment on the YouTube. I'm everything I don't want you guys to be. All right. I want you guys subscribing, liking, whatever, all that stuff, all the stuff that I never did. But so I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like that as well.
Okay, I got to say goodbye. I'm sorry. I got to go.
That was one cool thing about that stage is I was able to go behind them. This is not even edited yet.
That's cool.
Awesome.
That's very cool.
But
All right, Brent. Talk to you later.
Yeah, I gotta go.
get
Sorry.
the fuck out of here. Next time, have the daughter need picked up earlier.
Hey,
No, that way you don't have
you
to be
mean
on there
later?
as long.
But
Or whatever.
okay.
No,
See you, everybody.
earlier.
There we go.
And I did want to show this because I don't know if I'll ever really be able to post it, so you guys will get a sneak preview of this. So back behind the risers are the guitar amps. So with that stage setup, I could go back behind there and I
Yeah.
could hear exactly what Brad was playing, what Carrie was playing, with nothing else around. So just be like having earbuds
Just
in
like their guitar.
and their guitar. So if here I'm going to play this for you now. I'll want to hold it up to the screen so you kind of get the visual, and then I got to hold it back here so you can hear it. But this is You Can Still Rock in America. Where are we at here? So there's the speakers. Can you hear that?
No.
How about now?
No. Just not. Is it playing?
It is. It's just weird because it's loud as fuck right here.
Yeah, no. Nothing. Anyway, it's the isolated guitar track.
Only dry humping your microphone.
No. This is some good pod right here.
Yeah. Anyways, it is. So it's the You Can Still Rock in America solo, and it's just basically Brad playing, and then I walk right over to Carrie's amps, and it's just Carrie playing. But it was cool. Go back there and you listen to the rhythms, or something, and you would just hear, let's say Carrie during a song, you just hear,
Yeah.
which wow, you never hear it like that. You just hear it with a whole
You hear the
mix.
mix. Yeah.
And you just hear what little he's playing during that part, or maybe not little, but just and just this little riff that he would do during, and Brad the same way. Now, the reason why I can't post that is, you'll have people on there. Well, it doesn't sound like the record, and it's like it's fucking live. Number one,
and it's not a mix. It's
yeah,
isolated track.
Them up there jumping around and playing. Of course, it's not going to, but it's dipshits like that ruin it. Kind of like the Nikki Sixx post I think I talked about earlier.
Yeah,
where
they suck all the fun out of it.
That's it. Let's meet outside. Aren't you on stage in New Jersey? I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You're right. This is all fraud. Thanks.
But yeah. Did I tell you I like space rocks?
I'm with you, buddy. The older I get, the more I understand people who live out in the woods. I get it now. I'm like, oh, I get it. Yeah, totally.
I never got like Walking Dead and stuff like
why are you trying to find other people, man?
Yeah, why are you going to like the mighty metropolis? It's like fucking go to Idaho. There's 10 people there to begin with.
Go to Cincinnati.
Let's say it's
20 years behind.
Let's say it's a 100% zombie, person to zombie ratio. You have 10 zombies in Idaho you got to kill. Yeah. And after that, make a sandwich. But no, let's go to fucking
let's go to Atlanta.
Yeah, let's go to Atlanta,
Why? I don't go to Atlanta right now.
Yeah.
And I have to go to Atlanta in October.
What for?
Oh, the Marvelous 3.
Ooh.
As they say, too much rock for one hand, so they got to do it like this.
Yeah. All right. So did we cover it all?
I think we did. We've been talking for a long time, and
yeah, I was hoping this would be a quick fucking episode. God,
I know
been chewed.
It's tough because, and I know I hope people that watch or listen don't think that we take it for granted, but the access that we have, and especially that you have, is really cool, But not taking it for granted, the cool part is like what you're getting able to film for us is we're able to see the behind the scenes or the view that they get to see. So looking out at the crowd, there's only a few people in the world that ever get that view, Most of us are on the other side of that looking up. So to see that, especially for me, like I always wanted to be a performer like that. I thrive on that stuff, and I love when you're taking them shots from behind Kelly, because I've had that, not that view, but I've played in bands since I was 13 years old. So I've looked out at fives of people many times. So, and sometimes you get us the rituals and the stuff they do backstage is fun. And hopefully when you spend time with them, you do relay that to them, that people, they do love it. And
it's back and forth.
Ed, I mean, Ed's fantastic, man. He's a really great friend of the
I
show.
I am taking, I've kind of like, just being a little bit more, I'm just asking less, like I'm doing this, it's like,
I think they trust you.
I think we've built it up enough
Yeah.
to where it's like, listen, you're not always going to look great on the live videos, but if something happens, and shit has happened, we've been live and something's happened, unless you are watching it live, you would never know, because I just delete the live video.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But the thing is, they can't control is the fan shot videos. Like,
Yeah, it's like, that's what I told him.
and no one's looking at, I know it's a little bit, we all have that vanity, but no one's looking at that, man.
Mhm.
We're all so happy to see Reason to Be or Rumors or Call My Name. We're just happy. Like and again, as you're building your close relationship with these guys, Josh, we need to get into somebody's vault and find some Big Life tour footage.
I talked to someone about that. Brad,
Oh, I know.
maybe? No?
I
Yes.
was talking to Mike Brunn, who's a big fan, and he's got a bunch of stuff. And he's like, Andy goes, is there anything? I said, no one can find it. I said, Josh has been trying to find it. I said, if you find something, dude, you got to share it with us. He's like, I'm on a hunt now.
Who I would assume it was Brad. And I've probably I know I've talked to Kelly about it. I've talked to Jack about it, but I just think this last weekend I was talking to Brad about how there's no footage out there. There's
One of them has to
dude,
have something, right?
and we're going to have an episode where we maybe talk about bootlegs. I just found another Mojo recording. So that's 3 Mojo era concerts that are out there, but we can't get one fucking Big Life.
It's the only era we can't find.
Yeah, dude, I found a Tokyo, because Live in Japan was recorded in I don't know what city in Japan, and if they played multiple nights in Tokyo, this is another Tokyo show, but it's not the Live in Japan, because I can tell I've listened to Live in Japan so much. I mean, I'm sure they probably any band maybe went in and retouched stuff, but it sounds like a completely different show. But again, Man in Motion, I can find shit like that, but nothing for.
You can even find Neverland stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Neverland had the official release.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's just nothing.
But I mean, you can even find bootlegs. I mean, it's funny. So, callback, the guitar pick you gave me, as I'm running out, the guy who was running merch for Starship is a friend of mine and Brent's, and he's like, Andy, any chance you got a pick? And I was like, I got one. You can have it. I said, it's a Jack pick. Is that right? He goes, yeah, it's fucking great. He is a guy who got us hooked up with the Cincinnati show from 2000 for the Neverland.
All right.
Or whatever it is, 97, 90, whatever that was. But, he had access to that and got us that. So, anyway, well, we've talked long enough. We've rambled on.
But, like I said, there's, I plan on sometime doing a bootleg episode. And like I said, I was able to track down a Mojo. So we got a Mojo 92 and a Mojo 95, which are, good to have because, the songs are different. There's about 3 or 4 songs that they were doing in 92 that they're not doing in 95. And then this song, or this other one's 93. And there's a song that they play that I've never heard before. So it's something they had written. They played for probably a couple months and then just either moved on from it. But it was never on those original 92 demos. It wasn't on.
And Gary doesn't have anything? Or have you talked to him about?
I don't think he probably has the stuff he had was released as the Gary Moon Still Moon record, which was a lot of that's the demos from the band called The Pack, which was working on getting a release when he joined Night Ranger, and they took a few of those songs and Night Rangered them up and used them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh, something else I just came to mind when you mentioned that. I don't know why it reminded me of it, but I saw that somebody posted a pic of Night Ranger with Reb.
yeah, someone
They'd
had
met, and I'm like, oh, how cool is that?
the lineup. I think would be the hardest to get, and I'm pretty sure it crossed over. And I know it did because that's what Shibuya is. Would be Reb and Michael Lardy together.
Yeah,
Because Michael Lardy is there, and then Reb joins, and Lardy leaves right after that. So most of the Reb stuff you see out there, which is including what was posted, is with Matthew Collin,
yeah,
Christian Collin, whatever.
yeah.
So the rarest photos would be that Michael Lardy, Reb Beach together.
Nice.
But yeah, and it does. I mean, it's crazy how something from 2007 looks so old and they look so young. Like
It's fantastic,
like
man. That's the stuff I say, especially so talking to my friend Alan here on the page here. This guy, keep my finger right. We were talking about, and he's like, he lurks on the page. He doesn't comment much, but he's like, God, I love seeing the photos and hearing the stories of the fans. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's what part of what makes the page so great is it's just sharing stories. I mean, we're also passionate about this one band, and it's all good. It's not a lot. There's no infighting. There's no like, well, fuck that lineup. It's just like, yeah, it's just celebrating Night Ranger and how fucking awesome it is. So I was so happy to see a show because I didn't know. I was telling another friend of mine today, I was like, I didn't know if I was going to get to see Night Ranger at all this year because of my schedule and what I've got going on. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to make any shows. And I decided, like, fuck, I'm going to Florence. Like, that's the closest I can get at this point that I know I can make. So, anyway.
yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. It's kind of like, I'm
Now, if Ed calls and needs me to go out on tour with him, I'll drop everything I'm doing. I'll quit my job. But that hasn't happened yet.
um yeah, I'm thinking about going out next weekend. I got to remove some stuff around my schedule and everything, but it's like, it's like, how often they're going to do something like Parti-Gras, right? It's like that was one reason why I wanted to go to the first show, but it was such a good time. And
I mean, we debated about going up to Noblesville. It just our schedule here just isn't working out that way. It's not. We have so much stuff coming up right now that we can't just take another day off and go somewhere.
do whatever
It's tough out here in Nashville, man. I'm busy. I got a Friday morning. I got to be down at Nissan Stadium loading in, setting up Ed Sheeran stage, man. I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm sure Ed will
Little
see like, wait a second, Parker from
little name drop. Because aren't you with Fans Emotion?
I'm like, listen, man, don't you know you're not supposed to talk to local people?
Don't look. Hey, listen, I did a true story, and so I did loaded Beyonce's tour out last Saturday night. So I had Night Ranger Friday night. I had to drive home because I had to be at Nissan Stadium Friday night to load out. Beyonce played Nashville Saturday night, and they load us all in, and we're sitting backstage at the stadium, like just in the seats in the end zone, and waiting to go out because as soon as the show ends, like you guys, they hit the same with 300 people. It's like a bunch of ants just going out and tearing shit down, and the guy's like, we're all sitting there waiting, and he goes, my little group that I was with, he goes, all right, now listen, Beyonce's gonna come out, she's gonna leave the stage in that golf cart. He's like, do not make eye contact, don't even look at her, and he's being funny. He was like, just look away, just look at the sky. I'll give you the all clear. When she's gone, we're going. So it's go, go, go. It's like Normandy, man. But it's funny. He's like, do not make eye contact. Don't even think about Beyonce until she's off the stage.
Yeah,
It's funny.
I don't know if I've told the story or not before, but I could have been married probably to Beyonce. I'll have to tell you about the time I worked in minor league baseball, and this is like when Destiny's Child first started. They were
Yeah.
playing after a Clippers game.
Wow.
And, I worked up at the stadium, and I worked for a third party.
Yeah.
And we were based out of the bullpen building,
Okay.
and they would use our office during the evening for a dressing room. Now, but it was our office. So well, I guess I'm telling the story. So, anyways, Destiny Child's playing. I knew what Bills or something like that, whatever, something like that. Yeah. And they're like, and sometimes I would stick around and watch the game at night. So I'd work and sell tickets, and and if I walked out my office door, I was right there at the bullpen. Sometimes I'd leave it open, just hear them, warming up, and I knew some of the pitchers and everything, and some of the catchers, and but anyways, that night, I was thinking about staying for the game, and they're like, yeah, Destiny's Child, their crew will be here about 3:00, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, all right. And I decided not to stay that game. So yeah, I would have been in the same office with Beyonce. She would have met me.
So she ends up marrying Jay-Z. Way to go,
Whatever.
Josh.
She could have met Jay Weave. And hell, I wouldn't even took Kelly Rowland. But
oh hell yeah.
But that's how close they were to greatness, and never realized
what might have been, man. As Little Texas once sang, what might have been.
But that shows you where Beyonce's, where she was and where she is. She was going to share the same room I worked in.
That's cool.
Nissan. Same. I always liked like the Independent Women. That was a song I connected with. Like, listen, I'm all for that shit. Buy your own shoes, and fuck.
Don't ask for alimony,
dude. I'll pay. You want to really be independent? Pay for my shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like shit. I'll be indebted. I'll be your indentured servant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, enough of the.
Yeah, that's mostly on. I gotta eat some dinner.
All right.
There's nobody listening at this point.
And if they are, we thank you. And
they're probably at this point ready to flip over to Lick Flops. What?
Yeah. Yep. The first 5 listeners get a free shirt. The very next week, all right.
Still waiting for number 3, 4, and 5.
But
tune right in.
Check out Flip Flops if you want to hear all the your
ramblings,
and stuff like that.
Hey, I gotta tell you, you'll at least understand the analytics of this. Our latest episode that's out is Bert Kreischer's movie, The Machine, and we average about 50 to 100 views. And as you know, Josh, that's usually
those views would go
up. 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes.
Did you guys take your shirts off for that review?
So here's the thing. We opened with, I was like, wait, we're talking Kreischer. I got to take my shirt off. And Gary's like, yeah, me too. But we didn't. However, that latest episode, we're over 2,100 views right now.
Really?
And we have no idea. The only thing Gary figures, because you and I have talked off camera about it, and they're not watching the whole episode, which I don't understand, but whatever. It's somehow it's on the feed of YouTube where it's on like people at the homepage. So if you like this, you'll like this, and I think we're getting a bunch of Bert Kreischer fans.
Well, the key is not your views; it's how long they're watching.
Yeah. So I don't have access to the analytics, but Gary said we're still only getting 2 to 5 minutes. They're not getting a lot of all the way through, but we are gaining subscribers, which is interesting too. So, but yeah, remember like we had that episode that had like 700 viewers or one time. We're like, what the hell? Like how this one just takes off, and that's where we're at right now. We're experiencing this, and it's just, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, they would have watched longer if you guys,
I told you we should have taken our shirts off.
All right. Hey, I am behind on the website. I need to get the past episodes uploaded. So, I will make a better concentrated effort to do that. So,
stop going to concerts.
Well, yeah, another shit,
Stop working for the band. Stop, stop having a life and cleaning shit off your dog.
Anyways, go to fansofmotion.com. We got all the episodes there. You got the YouTube channel, which is always updated. That's where we're mainly out of. When it comes to the podcast, go to Facebook, type in Fans in Motion. You click join, and you will be one of the few, the mighty, the femme. And we're also on Instagram. We're also on Twitter. We're also on Threads. So
Yeah.
go to them all. We're kind of on Spotify and Amazon, all that other shit. Go there and listen. If you're listening on, YouTube or watching on YouTube, wherever you're the fuck at, and you hear my beautiful voice, click subscribe, click like. Let us know that you love us. And yeah, go see a Parti-Gras show. Track us
Yeah.
down.
Go say hi. It's
Andrew,
the best.
Tired. Take us out.
Thanks, everybody. Let's go, Josh. Let's go eat.
Later.
Kick him in the heart, that's always what you need.